Okay, getting going. A minute late. Time for some Diane Qigong. Wild Goose Moving Meditation. We'll start out with some warm-ups. We'll look at movements 4 through 7, get into some details there, and then we'll go through the form together. So just to start out with the warm-ups, do the waist rotations. Feet sinking into the ground, toes spread, fly away, top of the head, open to the sky, and the head just as still as the feet are, but everything is in motion really. And after 10 to 20 of those, can massage up and down on the shoe kidney points, back and forth on the shoe kidney points. And then waist rotations the other direction. During all the warm-ups, keeping the tongue touching lightly behind the palate, or behind the teeth, gently on the palate. Similar to the way that the feet open up and are soft to come into contact with as much of the floor as possible. The tongue is soft against the roof of the mouth, just behind the teeth, being soft and filling as much of the palate as possible without using any force. After the waist rotations in the other direction, bring palm over palm into the chest, middle dantian, massaging. Switching which hand is on top and massaging in the other direction. Good evening, Miles. And then feet shoulder wide, parallel to each other, and we'll do the hip rotations. Feet still, top of the head still, checking back in, tongue touching lightly. And the tongue touching lightly on the palate can be another one of those aspects of Qigong that you carry with you throughout the day. It's a moving meditation that can do in secret without anybody knowing. And then massaging Huantiao and massaging lower back. And then hip rotations in the other direction. Forward, back, side, side, forward, side, back, side. Exploring roundness and smoothness, and even though we're hitting those cardinal directions, also giving just as much attention to all the spaces in between them, connecting them, so that it's one fluid motion, making that circle. And then palm over palm into lower dantian, and massaging lower dantian, letting all of the internal organs and muscles in that area relax and be soft and absorb. And switching which hand is on top and massaging again. Other direction. Opposite from whichever one you were doing before. Then we'll do the knee rotation, so feet back together, resting the hands lightly on the knees, and eyes gazing down on the floor, not looking down at the feet. Letting your feet connect with the floor fully for this first round. And then massaging down on the inside of the kneecaps and up on the outside of the kneecaps. And switching direction. Knee rotations the other direction. And then massaging down on the outside of the kneecaps and up on the inside of the kneecaps. Then we'll do another set of these and altering it in whatever way you like. You can go lower, you can go shallower, you can do it same again if you like. Traditionally, just letting the heels come up off the floor a little bit, and just like in the form, the heels don't have to come up very far for the points in the heel to be open and off the ground. And that's all we're looking to do, is to let the heels open up. And mechanically, if it feels good to let the heels come up further, by all means, go ahead. But don't need to overdo it. Less is more. And then massaging down the sides of the legs. And knee rotations in the other direction. I do treat these kind of like squats, and that really gets me warmed up, in addition to having my legs doing the work of making the circle in orbit, engaging my core to keep the back and the stack going through the rotations as those are happening. Massaging up the insides of the legs. And then we'll do arm rotations. Rotation after rotation. Eyes following the hands, and mind focus following through upper, middle, lower dantian as the hands descend down the front of the body, completing the circle through yourself. And then reaching up, pushing up with the hands, down with the feet, opening all the way through the front of the body. Relaxing, finding center, and extending. Eyes looking up at the hands. Relax. Up again. Relax, and then up to the right, so letting the left side of the body open up as we lean right. Bending like a bow, the whole body bending together by letting the softness go up and down the body. No one point is kinked and doing more than its fair share of the stretch and extension. And back to center. And then up again. And common advice for any stretching or extension is to hold it for 30 seconds. So usually as we're doing these, for the 3 times that I usually go up and then come back to center, each time is around 10 seconds, but you could do it as you like. If you're doing 5 up motions, then you can make each one shorter, or if you just want to go up in a direction and hang out there for 30 seconds, that works too. And then up to the left. Center, left again. and left. Center, and then folding from the hua, hip joint, pushing down, front of the body, hands come back up towards upper dantian, and then past the face, past the chest, past the lower dantian, down the legs, and making arm rotations. As we're folded in. If you don't want to fold over, or folding over doesn't work for you for whatever reason, with this, it reminds me of, as we're getting to movement number 4, which is also movement number 6, the pushing and setting wings. There's a tendency for people to lean forward with it, and instructors do it too. But the idea of, as we're doing that pushing and setting wings and letting there just be an edge that is found, can be applied for this second time we're doing the arm rotations, is just finding where, as you're folding from the hua, it feels like you are reaching an edge or extension. And again, less is more. If you can find sensitivity in where it feels balanced to be folding over, and how the rest of your body is counterbalancing it, that sensitivity is more valuable to develop than just getting the extension down the legs, because there's plenty of times we can do extension down the legs, and lots of positions that we can get that extension, but the sensitivity is through all of Qigong, all of the warm-ups and all of the Qigong. So see, we did pushing down, so why don't we get some kicks in? So protecting the back and kicking down the back of the leg through the heel, and letting each kick come down lightly to the floor. And then kicking with the toe down the top of the leg. And then chin to toe time. Right leg out at an angle, lining the torso, grasping the elbows, folding from the hua. And again, just as you're exploring the fold, let the exploration be the rich part, not hitting the edge, hitting the end, hitting the wall of your extension and having that be a goal, but let the exploration itself be the richness. And then reaching out with all 10 fingers, 5 in each hand. And massaging down the outside of the leg, a little bit harder on the way down, and up on the inside of the leg, a little bit harder on the way up. Patting down, getting all the joints, can bend that leg. It helps to get the joints, gently patting all the way down. And then being mindful of the back on the way up, locking it off a bit. And we'll go to the left side. Left leg out, lying torso, grasping elbows, and exploring the fold. Eyes on the floor as we do it, and chin and toe are connected regardless of how far over you're folding. Those two are connected so that the back is elongated just like the leg is elongated. Again, with that idea of about 30 seconds to an extension. Usually I do 20 or so of the arm, the elbow rotations, I guess they are, and then reaching out with 10 fingers and holding that for 10 to 15 seconds. Don't need to count the seconds, can just count a few breaths. And then massage the leg. And patting down the leg, make sure to get all of the joints, knee, ankle, and then mindful of the back on the way up, walking it off. And back over to the right side. Lining the torso, 6 fingers down each hand, folding, tongue touching lightly against the palate, chin to toe, eyes on the floor, exploring the fold, exploring the extension, keeping the reference points in mind. And then grasping toe. And massage. And pat. And minding the back, coming up, walking it off, and back to the left side. Lining the torso, 6 fingers, 3 on each hand, holding, exploring the extension through the leg, exploring the extension of the spine, exploring the extension through the arms, checking in, chin, toe, eyes floor, fingers into floor. Two fingers, one on each hand. And then grasping toe. And massage. And patting down the leg. And minding the back. Locking it off. I don't know if it's hot or what, but wow, the warm-ups are really making me sweat today. Back to the kicks. So protecting the back, having our palms on the shoe kidney points, or if you want to do the tops, the hands, that works too. But just the idea of that being stable as we kick, so that the torso doesn't lean in any direction. With each one of the kicks, we want the torso to be stable. And interesting thing there is being able to keep our center even when there's dynamic changes going on. And then kicking down the top of the leg through the toe. And then we'll get to the pretzel maneuver. Right hand over the left shoulder, left hand in front of the face, looking right, aligning the palms to the ears. Laogong are talking to the ears. And relaxing. Other side, left hand comes over the right shoulder, right hand in front of the face and look to the left. And it doesn't matter so much exactly where on the ear the Laogong is focused, since the ear itself is a full body representation. Anywhere that the palm kind of connects, that works. It's doing something. Maybe it connects different places, different days. Right hand over left shoulder, left hand in front of the face, looking to the right. It's also a little bit similar to washing face, comb, hair. Even though this is static rather than dynamic, there's a sense of the sphere around the head as we're wrapping around it and giving to ears on each side of the head. And then left hand over right shoulder, right hand in front of the face, looking left. Relaxing, and then massage or slapping massage, patting massage on the corner of the shoulder and under the arm. Letting the arms be loose, relaxed, and letting momentum do most of the work here. And then the arm rotations, so first bending the left leg and letting the right arm hang loose. The right leg is extended and the torso as much as possible is aligned to the left bent leg, and then the right arm comes up the front and down the back. Ten times. And then it switches direction and up the back and down the front. Still with the right arm. And then turning on our heels, doing a 180, so we're facing the other direction. Right leg is bent, right hand is on the right thigh. The left leg is extended. Left arm coming up the front, down the back. And other direction. Up the back and down the front. And letting both arms hang loose and doing some more slapping, patting massage, coming across the top of the shoulder and across the back. And pivoting on the heels again, 180, and some more of those massages. And coming back to center, more massage, doing circles on the shoot kidney points, the bow on the ribs, and it's about halfway between your hips and your armpits on the lower ribs, and halfway from the front to the back as well. And then lymph nodes of the lower extremities, and massaging middle dantian from the center out over the collarbone, between the shoulder in there a bit. Other side. Letting the shoulder relax, be soft and absorb everything that the hand is giving. And real shoulder massage, getting the scapula, the neck in, other side. Oh, didn't do any pats. I think we'll go back and do some pats too, just for good measure. Then coming from the tips of the fingers up past the shoulder. The arm can be a little bit across the body to get to the very tips of the fingers, and the fingers are all level with each other. Thumb is level with the rest of the fingers too, and all of that is parallel to the floor. The arm is parallel to the floor. And turning the arm over, massaging down the shoulder, past the elbow, past the wrist, past the ends of the fingers. And other side, coming up the tips of the fingers, the thumb, past the wrist, elbow, shoulder. Turning it over and massaging down. And shaking the hands out, shaking the wrists out, shaking the elbows out, shaking the shoulders out, shaking everything out. And then we'll do the tips of the fingers to tips of the fingers, past the knuckle, past the wrist. Other side, right hand massaging over the left hand. And then massaging while going, the palm, middle finger comes in, finding a crease, looking for space in between pointer and middle finger. And you can massage on the outside at the same time as you're massaging on the inside. And then massaging from the center of the palm up to the ends of each finger. Other side, finding Lagong, getting into that space. Then massaging to the ends of the fingers, each time returning to the center of the palm, getting all the way out, twice on the pinky. And if your palms aren't already warm, you can give them a little extra warmth, friction, and massage the back of the neck, a little bit of the shoulder, other side. And then massaging from the collarbone past the chin. Other side. And then massaging the temple between the corners of the eye and corner of the ear. And then massaging corner of the eye. Corner of the nose. And mouth. Other side. Then massaging the ears, getting all the ears, full body massage, getting in the whorls, and then massaging the cheek up on either side of the ear, and then drums of heaven, putting palms gently over the ears and tapping the fingers. Then wash, face, comb hair. Hands don't actually touch each other or the head. And if you're feeling tired or have any stale, stagnant, unnecessary, bad, evil, any chi you don't want, you can get rid of it first. It's good to get rid of it first before doing the consolidation and absorbing of chi. Otherwise, you'll just be taking all the bad chi and putting layers on top of it, and then when you go and get rid of chi at the end, you'll be getting rid of all the good chi that you just put on. I don't know if it actually works that way. That's what I think. Technically, I guess the chi could move through all these layers, no problem. One leg stand. Letting all the weight sink into one of the legs and letting the other leg just play. Playing with the ankle, heel and toe. And lift the leg. Letting the toes spread and as much of the foot connect with the floor as possible. And as the foot comes down, letting it be gentle, even brushing the floor before committing weight. Shifting over, letting that leg that just came down bear all the weight so that the other one can play. Letting the ankle play, heel and toe play. Lift the leg. And as it comes down, letting it be soft before it does the work and takes on the weight, so that the other leg can go up and play again. And shifting weight. Last time. Well, it's never the last time, since we go and shift weight throughout the form. It's kind of the first time. Then we'll get extension through the inside of the leg, letting the left leg bend, the right leg extends, the feet are parallel to each other, and the feet are fully on the ground, heel, toe, ball of the foot, all connected. Right arm extends with the right leg, fingers pointing past the foot, eyes looking down the arm, past the hand, following the fingers into the ground. Left hand can form a claw or support yourself. And then shifting to the other side so that the right leg is bent, left leg is extended, left arm is extended. Right hand can form a claw, can support. Going back to center, massaging up the insides of the legs. Then we'll do some walking kicks. So again, protecting the shu kidney points and kicking out with the heels first. Letting each step be gentle, deliberate. Then kicking with the toes on the top of the leg. And connecting the top of the foot across the Achilles tendon. And then gathering to lower dantian for the walking meditation. Okay, that wraps up the warm-ups. Can do a single bow and then get into some of the details for this week's movements. So we're doing movements 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 and 6 are pretty much the same. It's push and set wings. And actually 5 and 7 are also pretty much the same move with flip Kugu. And before we do that, I'll review what we did last week just really quickly. The first thing that we looked at was actually the close. And the close is good anytime. Don't even have to be doing something before you close, but usually you'll be somewhere in the form. Maybe you just got to the end of the form, but you can do it in the middle too, or after you've just been practicing a move, or you just need a break, whatever. Close is great. And for that, wherever you are, just bringing the palms to upper dantian and past the face, past the neck. Shoulders are relaxed, everything is relaxed, and the hands pass through lower dantian till the fingers are pointing down in front of the body, and then come to the side. And at the end of the close, you're back to zero, just like the start of the form, perfectly balanced. And then bring legs together and go on with, you can either do the walking meditation or whatever you feel like, depending on where you were at before you did the close. So that's the close, and then we did movements 1 through 3, which I'll do facing the side just because there's bending over involved, and it's easier to see the alignment from the side. As we start, the hands actually come back, the lao gong's pointing at Kugu, and come down the sides of the legs, and the fingers drag up through the earth, and we rise up so the hands are at shoulder high, and we're back to feeling perfectly balanced, not leaning forward at this point. Then the hands open at an angle, and the arms are rounded as they open to the sky. Eyes are looking up to the sky. We come up off the heels, and then we fold the wings into lower dantian, coming back down on the heels. And this is where we left off last week. I'll go right into pushing and setting the wings. So the shoulders and elbows are relaxed, and by letting the elbows drop, the hands can rise up from lower dantian to middle dantian, and then as the elbows come in towards the sides of the body, the hands naturally wind up pointing at each other. And there's a sensitivity and a connection between the hands there. They're talking to each other. They just found each other. And they maintain that connection as the fingers lead the way out and the arms extend behind them, just along for the ride. And at whatever point feels towards the edge of the extension, can fold a little bit from the hua, but don't need to really lean forward that much, but can just get that little extra bit of reach and turn the arms over and then swim back. And if you were leaning forward at all, then as the arms come back, find that center again. And as the hands pass the body, form claws and bring the claws into the shu kidney points. Kugu is connecting with the shu kidney points, UB23. And then for the second move today, we flip the hugu. So we drag around the dimeridian, the waist meridian, and the claws are loosened, and we flip, and the elbows come in and actually do touch the body, and the fingers are pointing out, palms up. So close after going through all that. And I wanted to talk about the claws really quickly. The claws, forming the claws, you just bring the thumb and the middle finger together. The thumb lands on the first fold between the end digit and the middle digit of the middle finger. The thumb lands right there. And then the other fingers just wrap around it gently so that there's still space. You can see there's space in there. So it's just like when we're doing the grasping chi and we make a loose fist. I don't think you can see that space, but there's space in there. So it's a similar feeling of just appreciating the viscosity of air, the atmosphere that we're swimming around in as we gather into the claw. And that softness and gentleness informs a lot of the movements in the set, but can start small and just let the formation of the claws be soft and gentle as they come together. And that's the first set claw. And whenever we're making the claw in the first set, that's the claw that we're making. And then Kugu, since we didn't massage it earlier, I want to point that out. Kugu is if you take your thumb and bring it in, there's this kind of lump on the hand, and it's in that lump, and usually it's pretty sensitive. This is one of those points that's usually pretty easy for people to find, and that's Hugu. And besides Lao Gong, Hugu is also aligned to different parts of the body throughout the form. It's a very common reference point, and even when it's not being voiced, the idea is by being aware of all the different points in the body throughout the entire form, you are having a mind-body connection that allows you to experience your whole body simultaneously. And that's maybe, I don't know if that's exactly inspired by geese. I feel that that's more like a octopus type thing, because octopuses have 9 brains or something like that, and each one of their arms gets a brain, so they've got their brains going all the way through their bodies. And Qigong is the same kind of thing where you're letting your whole nervous system wake up and be aware, and you're distributing your attention equally between all of the different senses that you're experiencing. And that's kind of where the soft gaze comes in, is not giving any one of those points more focus than another one, and not picking out any one thing to focus on, but just letting it all be and experiencing it all simultaneously in equal amounts. So that'll maybe be enough theory for now. Oh no, I want to talk about the dime meridian too. The dime meridian is this meridian that comes around the waist, and it's about navel high, maybe just a little bit above the navel, and it's not just a straight line across. If you look up the dime meridian, you'll see that it does have some curvature to it. But the interesting thing about the dime meridian is it's an extraordinary meridian. So there's all these meridians coming up and down your body, channels, whatever you want to call them. There's the nervous system too. There's things that run up and down your body. Interesting thing about the dime meridian is that it goes around all of them, which means that it can regulate all of them. So as we're doing this dragging of the Kugu around the die and expelling, it's really doing that for the whole body. So I'll leave it at that and then go through the movements 4 through 7, and 6 and 7 are just the same as 4 and 5. So I won't go through all 4 of them, but I'll do it facing forward this time just so that you get another angle. And we'll start after coming in at the end of movement 3, we've just folded the wings, and here the Lao Gongs are giving to lower Dantian. So there's a sensitivity there, connection between the palms and lower Dantian, and then that drags up for push and set wings. It comes through all the way up to middle Dantian, and the elbows drop and the hands then face each other. And then the fingers lead the way. So your eyes are looking in between the hands, and the fingers are exploring outwards, and the wrists, elbows, maybe even the shoulders engage a little bit, but you don't want to really round your back, and can let the extension that you're experiencing then come through the arms and through the chest and through the core, through middle Dantian and lower Dantian. And that's where that little bit of forward leaning can happen at the very end, is through those Dantian, but not losing balance, and then turning the arms over, setting the wings, forming claws. We set the wings, and coming up off the heels as the Kugu connect to the shoot kidney points, and then the claws loosen, drag Kugu, cross the dime meridian on each side, and then at about halfway we come down on the heels and flick forward at the same time. So there's a shaking that happens. It's a vibration that comes from both the heels landing on the floor and the elbows coming in on either side of the body. And both of those things are happening to create a vibration. And that vibration later informs the shaking. So even though we don't get to shaking until much later in the form, that's kind of the first shake that happens in the form. And then for 6 and 7, what happens is the hands from here just come up to chest again, and then they face each other, and eyes follow the fingers out, finding the very edge of extension, engaging all of the dantians in that exploration, letting roundness be embraced by all of them, and then setting the wings, forming the claw up off the heels, and again flipping Kugu. And then the hands come back to middle dantian again, the Lao Gong's connecting with middle dantian, the chest not actually touching the body, but just the alignment being there. And that's where we'll leave off for today. I'll close and then we can find our places for the form. If you have any questions about today's move, it can go in the chat or you can contact me, whatever way is convenient for you, and always happy to discuss. I got an email from Fran last week, and she was making a commitment to do practice twice a week with the online sessions that I do, and it reminded me of when I was starting Qigong, my teachers, Bob and Jean, had something they were calling the 100-day challenge. And I think Cynthia does this too, and maybe other teachers do it too, but it was literally a piece of paper like we got back in school, and there was 100 days on it, and just every day you practice Qigong, you could put the mark down. And the deal is if you don't practice a day, then you got to start all the way over again and go and get towards the 100 days. And it's kind of silly, but there's also science behind that kind of quantified self in practice. So maybe try it yourself, whatever is convenient. If you like working with papers and pencils, like make a 100-day little chart or use graph paper or use a spreadsheet or whatever. But if you want to maintain a consistent practice or develop a habit, supposedly after 30 days of doing something it sets in, but 100 days is even better. And Gail Wang, who teaches on the 9:30 sessions that happen in the morning, she has a book of herself doing Qigong for something like 600 or 900 days of traveling. It's an incredible book of her just like doing the form all over the place. It's really cool. Okay, feeling talkative today apparently. Can do a bow and find our place wherever you are, making space for the form. And if there's anything that still feels loose or needs a little bit of extra attention before we go into the form, you can loosen it up however you like. Maybe there's a stretch that you do that's not part of the form, or whatever needs to happen. Get in the zone. And then we get to the 0 point, starting point. Feet are parallel. Finding balance, that dynamic balance. Palms are open. Fingers are evenly spread, tiger's mouth and the thumbs. Tongue touching lightly. Toes spread. And begin. Hands coming down the legs. Fingers dragging through the floor. Opening to the sky. Closing the wings. And then today's move, we push and set the wings. Flip Kugu. And move 6, push and set again. And flip. Then we come up past the face, opening the elbows, pushing up, folding, up to the knees and up, down outside the left foot, up to the knees, down outside the right foot, back to center, and turning to the left to rock forward, rock back, form claw that lands above the collarbone and macrocosmic orbit. Right hand coming all the way up and at the apex, swooping down and flapping the wing, both wings, 3 times. And then right hand pushes out, comes back in, forms a claw above the clavicle, left hand does its macrocosmic orbit, swoop, and flap, 3 times. Left hand goes out, back to middle dantian, rise up, washing machine. Right hands like clouds. As you're turning to the horizon, catching the hand as it comes out, following the hand around, and returning to the horizon. And then on the fourth one, we spiral around, rinsing the waist. And raise single wing. Wrap ear and head. And then scoop moon from water. This is the outer moon. Turning around. Stepping forward. And look at the moon. Inner moon. And pushing down on the left. And pushing down on the right. And fluttering the fingers. Fluttering the whole arms. Leaning forward as the hands flutter behind. Up to shoulder high, and then lower dantian up to the left. Lower dantian up to the right. Left again. And then lower dantian, and we step forward to drink water. Stepping up, feet parallel, and land, hands on lower dantian, and shake. Relax, absorb. Yin, stillness. Shake. Shake. Then grasp chi, loose fist, dragging up the stomach meridian. Nine, 10. And grasping chi, palms up. Nine, 10. Unfurling the fingers, spiraling up past the face. And big ball of chi over to the left. Right hand top of the left hand and massaging in towards lower dantian. Eyes in the middle of the ball that you're massaging. And turn the ball over and massage back the other direction. Massage back to center. And absorb. Coming up. And then down. And standing meditation. Okay, rising up and palms to upper dantian, Coming down the front of the body, pausing at lower dantian. Okay. Lagang Wantiao, Kugu Wantiao, and expel. Forming the claws, landing them on the back, your kidney points shaking, and you need to make a little space for the 7 steps. Do it during a shake, and then be still, soft, absorbing, and shake. Claws are opened up for the shaking. One more shake. And then to get into the 7 steps, first we glide. Number 7. Fluttering and lower dantian and turning on the heels, fluttering up to the sides, forward, and then taking a step and we fly up to the left, right, alternating with each step. And the fluttering is constant, doesn't ever pause. 6, 7, fluttering to lower dantian, pivoting on heels, fluttering up, sides, forward, and searching for food. Six, 7, palms to knees, lower dantian, pivot heel, and we build nest. Twice on the right. And on the final one, pushing all the way down, fingers pointing down, pivot on the left heel, bring the right foot parallel to the left, and begin to flutter, fluttering up to upper dantian, coming up the heels. The fluttering subsides as you pass the chest, middle dantian, land on lower dantian, and sleep. Down on the heels, rising up, close, fingers pointing all the way down before the hands come to the side, back at 0, legs together, and walking meditation. Okay, thank you for practicing, and we'll do 3 bows. 1 bow to each other. Thanks for making space and time to practice. And then a bow to celebrate our teachers and their teachers and the whole lineage and the greatness of the form. And then another bow for the world around us, atmosphere, earth, and anyone out there that you want to send energy to. So that's it. Thanks for practicing. If I don't see you tomorrow morning, then maybe I'll see you Saturday. And if I don't see you Saturday, maybe I'll see you back here next week for the next set of movements, and so on. All right. Have a good night. Have a good day. Have a good week. And see you later. Bye.